Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. Now I have a question for you guys, real quick. In 16 days from now, 16 days, what day will it be? I can tell you it's on a Tuesday. I'll let you guys try to figure it out. 16 more days. What's that? What is that? I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Tonight after my show, you got Dawn and Darren Yazzie, and their podcast is Don't Whistle at Night, which is a freaking good one. Hey, Juan, good to see you. Hey, Mish. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Vet Girl. That's right, Vet. St. Patty's Day. That's right, St. Patrick's Day. Yes. Hey, Lucas, good to see you. I'm really looking forward to that. So, the month of March, not all of March, but all the way up to the 17th, I'm going to do some Irish stuff. Okay, I'm going to do some Irish stuff. Good evening to you, Lucas. Donna, good to see you. Good to see you, Donna. Good. All these people coming in, new people. All my dear friends. Oh my God. Jax, good to see you. Can I be mad? Of course you can be mad if you want. No problem. Hey, Joe Fox, good to see you, pal. This is great. This is great. But I don't know. St. Patty's Day is coming up in the month of March, all the way up to the 17th. All my shows are going to be Irish related. Oh, you're welcome, Jack. And tonight, it's the start of this Irish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them. What would be your message to the world? There's a couple of them, Lucas. Love everybody. Protect the children. Save the children. That would be my message to the world. Love everyone, protect the children, and save the children. That's my message. So tonight, before I go on, CL, her show's on Tuesday night. Thank you, Jax. And she wanted me to ask you if I could share. She has an online magazine. It's called Erie Expedition. And her the month of July, that magazine's coming out. Thank you, Lucas. 4-leaf clovers. All that good stuff. Yeah. I'm just excited St. Patrick's Day coming up. There we go. So the internet's early, so I'm going to be either lagging or I'm going to be, kicked off here. But so she asked me to tell you guys about her magazine. and which is a good magazine. She has all kinds of decent articles in it. And what you need to do is on Tuesday night at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, just go over and check out her show, and then she could tell you all about it. But what I might do is just ask her, "Hey, Joni, good to see you." And I'll ask her to come on my show for a couple minutes so she can explain her magazine um, and her podcast, the Gateway Podcast. So I'm telling you, animals of Irish mythology. Did anybody out there know that the Ireland had? Hey, you know what? I might do that. I might do that. Diet green. Yeah. Maybe I'll do the Irish flag. Yeah, I could do that too. I don't know yet. We'll see. But did everybody know that the that Ireland had mythology creatures? I sure as hell didn't, and I'm Irish. Oh, come to find out about Ireland and me being Irish, I can actually, be a dual citizenship because my grandfather came from Ireland. You know, but I don't know yet. Maybe even money. I'm busy. Maybe I'll get all the paperwork. I know my mom is, but since my grandfather is, I can be a citizen of Ireland. So that was like a pretty cool thing that I found out. But Irish mythology is rich in enchanted animals, shapeshifter. Did you, Johnny? Cool. And beasts that act as messengers or omens, deeply tied to the other world and nature. Key figures include the salmon of knowledge, shape shifting selkies, majestic red deer, and fearsome creatures like the puka, the triple-headed dragon. I couldn't pronounce the name because I don't know Gaelic that well. And the olephist. Now, the salmon of knowledge is a fish that gained all the wisdom in the world by eating hazelnuts that fell into the well of wisdom. Eating its skin granted this wisdom to Fionn McGumhall. Kevin says, I think of fairy magic lore when I think Irish and one-eyed giants for some reason. Have not done much research, but instinctive thoughts. Well, your instincts are pretty cool, buddy, because, with the salmon of knowledge, they had this chick. Her name was Fionn McGumhall. I know I spelled it wrong, but I looked her up. And this is like kind of fascinating. So let me go get her from my beautiful AI. Where's she at? Let me see. Where's she at? Of course, I don't have her. Let's see. Let's go back to this. Here we go. Where are we at here? Fionn was a warrior. The legendary Fionn Mac was one of the most prominent figures in Irish folklore. He featured in many stories during the Fenian cycle. So by eating that salmon and all the hazelnut stuff on it, the skin of the hazelnut, right? Well, he had all this knowledge. Okay. And I think he was like a warrior of some sort. I had all this worked out, you know what I mean? But all of a sudden, being who I am, and like Kevin said, the luck of the Irish. I don't have too many Irish. I don't have too many thoughts. But the Selkies are magical beings that live as seals in the sea, but can shed their skin to become humans on land. I never heard of Selkies before. And if anybody out there have heard of these mythological creatures, just say, come up and say it. Hey, I read about those, or I've seen one. Then you have the puka, a shape-shifting spirit often apparent as a dark horse, goat, or eagle, known to be mischievous or malevolent. And then there's the red deer. Irish Spring soap, my favorite soap. You're funny, Kevin. I don't like it. I'm more of oh, they don't. I was really big into Dove soap. But I will tell you this. I do use Irish Spring body wash. It's pretty cool. I like it. It has like body wash. It got shampoo in it and stuff like that. And but I have to say they are not a sponsor of my show. So um, I just wanted to come up and say that, protect my butt and to protect UPRNs. They do not sponsor my show, nor do they sponsor UPRN. Then you got the wild boar, representing the wild and untamed. The most famous and is magical boar responsible for the death of Diarmuid. Maybe I should learn how to speak Gaelic. What do y'all think? From what I understand, it's the hardest language to learn. And the Olifist is a massive dragon-like sea monster or serpent that inhabits Irish rivers and lakes. And what's that famous one out there in Scotland? I could do it, yeah. Now, my question is, let me get back to the Olifist, a massive dragon-like sea monster or serpent that inhabits Irish rivers and lakes. But I think they have one over in Scotland too. And I mean, if you look at Scotland and like Bessie's her name, and Scotland and Ireland are like side by side. So maybe, the Bessie is there. And for the life of me, I do not know the name of that damn sea serpent over in Scotland. The Loch Ness Monster. Thank you, Johnny. Kevin says Gaelic, interesting. Now I am thinking as Sean mentions it. LOL. You're thinking dragons. Good. But maybe the Loch Ness Monster is one of these Olafist people. Nessie. Thank you, Joe Fox. So I guess they have that in Scottish folklore and you got that in Irish folklore. But all these freaking animals, all these magical beings. What I think is like really, really cool is the Selkies, all right? And they're magical beings that live as seals in the sea, but can shed their skin to become human on land. Now, if you were one of these Selkies, and you were swimming around the lakes or in the ocean, wherever, would you want to come out and be a human? Or do you ever think when you read up on these mythologies, when these mythologies, animals, or any mythology, I wonder who made these up? I wonder who made these stories up. Well, I know for a fact in Ireland there's a lot of stories. But I think that's pretty crazy wanting to be a seal. And you're a male seal, and you see a cute little girl up on the beach, a cute girl. Would you want to go out and shed your skin and become a human? And if you did shed your skin and became a human, would you be good looking? Would you have fish gills? What do you think? A mermaid, yeah. Same thing. Mermaids. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there, but the mermaids are the women that when the fallen angels came to earth and did the wild thing with the women that were on Earth, okay, that their penance was becoming mermaids and they were thrown in the river or in the oceans. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I don't, but I did read something like that, so I'm not really sure how that goes. But back to my question, would you, Joe Fox, if you're a SEAL, okay, and you see, and you want to become human or go on the beach, would you want to shed your skin? Or would you feel safer being in the ocean as a SEAL? Same way with you, Kev. Anybody out there. Even for, let's just say mermaids could actually, you know, become human, get rid of their tails. So the females, that girl and everybody else, Joni, would you want to shed your tail, your fish tail, and become a human being? I thought about that for a long time, and I know, see, when I'm at work, I really have a lot of time on my hands sometimes, and I think of this crap. But I want to shed my skin and go and be a human? No, no, not at all. Joni says no. No, I'd just rather be a seal. Swim in the ocean, stay away from great white sharks or any sharks, and killer whales, and just live. Donna says, yes, the mermaid is supposed to be the children of the fallen and the women of earth. Thank you, Donna. That's what I thought. Okay. So I did read it right. Thank you for that, Donna. That's just like being not, we'll just say the Selkies, it's a seal. But what if you're an animal? Like, not a seal, but let's just say a deer, okay? And you had the opportunity to shed your deer skin and become human. Would you do it if you had the opportunity? Joni said the little mermaid risked it all to marry the prince. Yuck. That's Disney, honey. Never saw it, but it's Disney from what I understand. I don't think I would want to be human, especially in the times that are going on right now. Knowing that if I had um, the smarts as a deer, where I can run away from the bears, or I can hide from the bears, or any other animal that's a predator, I'd just stay at a deer, you know? I would not want to become human. Mish says maybe mermaids can't eat chocolate unless you're in human form. Chocolate is yummy. Good evening, Michelle. Good to see you. So that's where I'm at with this, the Selkies, and any other animal. Would you want to shed the skin and become human? Nah, I'd be happy and content where I'm at. Now, the question is now that they don't tell you, Sky, Scout's good to see you. Oh, but what they don't tell you is, say, like the Selkies, man, they come out, shed their skin and become human. The question is, can they go back into their SEAL suit and become a SEAL again? Could they do that? I don't know. Maybe it might, if anybody wants to look into that, feel free to. I would love to have that explanation. But let's see what we got here. Okay, now um, you got Alan Tretch something, a terrifying triple head monster from Irish legend. I really wish I could pronounce these words, but I can't. And then you got the Glass Gavelin, a legendary magical green cow that provided an endless, miraculous supply of milk. Well, I believe we got a lot of legendary magical green cows around here now because they give a lot of milk. But I don't know if they're green unless the farmer decided, to dye the cows green. Can you imagine that? Dyeing cows green. Well, they come out with green milk. All it is a green dye. Think about it. If you were a lucky cow, yes. And here's another question to ponder, if you wish. Okay. Would you want your cows to be green and give you green milk? My answer? Nah. Just let me be a cow and produce a lot of milk. I don't want no magical green cow. Nah, just give me a regular cow. And then you got the wren, known as the king of the birds, appearing in various folklore traditions and in one tale mistaken for a mouse. I've been listening to the Clancy brothers, Tommy Macon and the Clancy brothers, for a very long time. And they were in Carnegie Hall and they played children's songs. And the one song was called the Wren Song. And a bunch of kids would go around to the house. They'd have a dead wren in the shoebox and sing a song and collect money to bury the bird. And that's true. So these boys would go knocking at the door, singing the song. It's called the Wren Song. I forget how it goes. And they would ask for money or donate to burying the bird. I thought it was really cute. Mish says, interesting, at school we did a song to our Australian anthem. Our cows give us green milk was one of the lines. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, that's crazy, Mish. Siante, Ralph, and Health Unicorns. Love my unicorns. And I think Moses did forget them when he got the Ark built. Really believe he did. But there's one animal folklore that I found very, very interesting. And they're called the wolf walkers. Yes, the wolf walkers. And they are characters in folklore who could transform into wolves, often linked to the man-wolves of Ossuary. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take our break because we're at the bottom of the hour. It is 8:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to take a couple-minute break. So go out, smoke a cigarette, get a coffee, do what you got to do. Yes, the Pittsburgh Irish Festival is coming up too, Joni. Yes. And so I will be back in 2 minutes. So enjoy. And we will talk about the wolf walkers. It's pretty interesting. And on that note, we are going on the break. And we're going to go here.
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the second part of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I want to thank, again, UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Also, right after my show at 9:10 Eastern, you got Darren and Don Yazzie, and their podcast is called Don't Whistle at Night. They're both from the Navajo tribe, and they got some pretty good guests, and they have a good show. So go over there, give them some love, and tell them I sent you. And Chris, good to see you. Thank you, Kevin. Those little magical people, they're called leprechauns or fairies, whatever you want to call them. Maybe a unicorn here and there. I really believe, though, honestly, I believe that Moses forgot to put the unicorns on the boat, on the ark. I believe that. I don't know why I believe it, but I believe it. So in the first half of the show, we were talking about Ireland's mythical animals, okay? And I mean, that's pretty interesting. And, you know, I threw a couple questions out there, and they're called selkies. And what this animal is it's a seal, you know, that swims in the water, and it has the ability to shed the seal outfit, I guess, and become a human being. We had a nice little discussion on would we want to do that, and I'm going to put that question out there again tonight. Do you want to shed, if you were a selkie, would you want to shed your seal identity and become a human being? And the only question that you can come up with is, what would you look like if you became human? Would you be good looking? Would you have gills? Seriously. And then after your time on land is over with, do you have the ability to become a seal again? To me, it's just fascinating. It really is. And we talked about the wren, okay? And the wren is like the big bird over in Ireland. And Seal the singer, you would look like him. Hello. Yeah, Kev. Yeah. That's very possible, brother, but I don't think so. But on the day after Christmas, they call it St. Stephen's Day. A bunch of boys will go and carry a box around with a dead wren in the box. And what they do is they go house to house and they sing the wren song. Unfortunately, I don't know the song. And they would sing it. And at the end of it, they will ask the person at the door for a donation to bury the wren. I mean, it's a cute little Irish song. If you get the opportunity, Just Google Tommy or go on YouTube, Tommy Macon and the Clancy Brothers, and it's called the Wren Song. So you'll get a kick out of that. But we were also talking at the end before we went into break, and the last one I want to talk about is called wolf walkers. WOF walkers, wolf walkers. Okay. And it, when I first looked this up and I read this, I'm thinking, wow, pretty interesting. And everyone knows that my spirit animal, my main one, his name is Lakota, and he is a wolf. He's big, he's bad, and he kicks ass. Whenever I go into meditation, or if I'm out there, helping clear a house or whatever, he comes with me. He's always with me. And what's really cool is if you need to borrow him, he'll go. I'll send him to help you. And there's a lot of people that come on this show. There's a lot of people out there that when they ask for Lakota, he's there, and then they can tell. It kind of creeps everybody out when they see him or feel him there, but it's true. Chris says that he's connected to a lynx. That's cool. That's cool. How come you got connected to the lynx, Chris? Is it the animal that you saw in a dream? Is it an animal that you saw while you were out and about, or did you meditate on it and the lynx came to you? And what I'm going to do for you, Chris, okay, is I have my medicine cards and I'm going to look up the lynx and see what that means. And I just got to find the page on which it's on, and then we'll talk about it. 109. Okay, and this is for you, Chris. This is for you, my friend. The lynx. Okay, the lynx has a lot of secrets. That's what the lynx is all about. It says here, if you have pulled the lynx, you can be sure that secrets are afloat. If this is your personal medicine, you should listen to your higher self. Be still and pay attention to the revelations you receive, either in the form of mental pictures or through a high singing voice in your inner ear. Perhaps you will receive information in the form of omens. You can be sure that Mother Earth is signaling to you in some manner. If Lynx is at your door, listen, brother or sister. Lynx can teach you of your personal power and the things you have forgotten about yourself. The Lynx can lead you to the most lost treasures and connect you to forgotten brotherhoods and sisterhoods. Some medicine people believe that the Sphinx of ancient Egypt was a lion, but a lynx. This lynx does not say much. With an enigmatic smile, the great cat watches over the sands of forever. Kevin said, Rumpelstiltskin, what did he do? Love that song, Wolf Energy. No stranger to wolf guides through my human form guides who work for them and borrowed many times to add to my own animal spirit guides. That's cool, Kevin. And Chris says he actually walked to the center of my yard when I was working in the backyard. He stretched out and hung out with me and then jumped over the fence and left. You're welcome, Chris. Well, you know what, Chris? That was from my medicine cards. And what I would highly suggest is that after the show tonight, or whenever you got some time, just Google the links for spirit guide. The links as a spirit guide. Thank you, Kevin. Now back to the wolf walkers. All right, this is interesting. Wolf walkers mythology is rooted in Irish folklore. focusing on beings with souls when souls leave their sleeping human bodies to roam as wolves. You're welcome, Chris. Inspired by the medieval man wolves of Ossory legend, documented by, there's all these Irish freaking names that I don't understand. I'm not even going to say it. These figures are depicted as guardians of nature or cursed shapeshifters rather than the traditional violent werewolves. And the conflict started in 1650 in Ireland. Hey, Mark Eddie, good to see you. Good to see you, Mark. Thanks for popping in. The soul projection, unlike typical lycanthropy physical transformation, a wolfwalker's human body lies in a trance, like sleep, while their spirit takes the form of a wolf. So, okay, so that's us meditating, and it sounds like going out and doing an out of body experience, okay? But instead of you being the human that you are, you turn into a wolf. That's pretty interesting, I think. Yeah, because think about it. If you turn into a wolf and you're out of body, my God, nobody will know who you are. And that would be great to roam around. The origin and transmission, well, some legends suggest they are born or cursed. In the film, the ability is passed through a bite from another wolfwalker. So it's not your werewolves, okay, but okay, and they're not mean. They go out and they like hunt down bad spirits, bad whatever, you know. So a lot of this that I read about it is whenever I would go into meditation, whenever at the beginning and when I had Lakota, I would go out there and I guess fight negative, fight evil, or deal with evil spirits or evil whatever, nasty spirits. I would fight them. And Lakota, my wolf, would come along. Now, my question is for me, and this is something I really got to meditate on, is now, did I become the wolf? Did I become Lakota during these things, during these battles that I had? Or was Lakota with me, or did I actually went into as a wolf? Yes, they are, Kev. And that's something to ponder. If it is a mythological element, but when I read it, it just seems like this is what happens when I go out and fight. I don't know. So maybe I am one of them. I don't know. But everybody says mythological or mythology or whatever it is. But a lot of these things that are so-called mythology could actually be true. So I really, really need to look into that. If I become Lakota while I'm out there fighting evil. Maybe that's something for you to ponder there, Kevin. If you could come up with something, I'd appreciate it. The Ossory legends, Irish lore, particularly from the 12th century, the Topographia Hibernica tells of the man-wolves of Ossory. It's modern. That Ossory is modern Kilkenny, who were said to be cursed to live as wolves for 70 years. In the folklore connection, they are often associated with the wild, untamed nature of Ireland, representing a spiritual connection to the land rather than just a curse. Mish says, our cows give us cream milk, our cheese is rich and rare. We were doing book week in the 80s was to do with aliens from memory. Interesting. Thank you for that. Kevin says tap into the wolf energy so you are seeing through their eyes, Sean. In a sense, you transmute into that form. Oh, wow. Thank you for that, buddy. I probably do. I have to really look into that. And then a lot of them, and this is where I feel that I kind of like, turned into this wolf walker, right? The healing power. In some tales, these wolves from humans were believed to heal the wounded and guide lost travelers, defying the evil portrayal of wolves. Joe says, I saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's. That was a good song. But I like the healing power one of the wolf walker. In some tales, these wolf human form humans were believed to heal the wounded and guide lost travelers, defying the evil portrayal of wolves. So what do you guys think about all that? Chris says, what flash images do you see that are put out of place in your mind that might help to see if you become the wolf? That's true. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'll look into that. Thank you for that, buddy. It just makes sense now. Me and Lakota, that there's that chance that I am Lakota when I'm out in spirit. I don't know. I might have to talk to Don Yazzie about that and see if he can hook me up with a shaman, because that would be something I can really, really understand. It just seems like it falls into place. Kevin says, I do that in astral travel with my eagle. Look to my left, see my wings with mountain lion, feel the dirt on my paws, hear my breath as a lion when using my animal totem. So yes, Sean, I agree. Thank you, Kevin. I mean, a lot of people are starting off this, and I know what I'm saying, and I know what Kevin is saying. People who really don't know what's going on. I mean, I know Kevin has done it for a long time, and I've done it, my gosh, since 1996. Joni says, Warren Zevon, one of my favorites. Okay, I'm going to have to look him up. So I know this is probably confusing for people who are just starting meditating and working with the animal totems. But, eventually if you continue studying the animal spirits, your animal totems, your animal spirit guides, then you could actually kind of like understand what me and Kevin are talking about. I'm sorry that I got you lost when I spoke about this. I should have been a little bit more, what I'm saying, I should have, toned it down a wee bit, so maybe I'll have a show on what I was talking about. So the mythology in Wolfwalkers is used to explore the tension between civilization and nature, portraying the wolves not as monsters, but as defenders of their territory against encroaching fear. That's crazy. Huh? I really like that. So when I read this earlier today before the show, I was just like so intrigued with the Wolfwalkers. And maybe maybe I can do some research online and see if there are any authors out there that talk about Wolfwalkers. Mark Eddy, if you're in the room, if you could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. Find an author on it. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to get them on my show and explain them a little bit more of it. I find it pretty interesting. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it is coming close to the end of the show. I know it went by too quick. I hope some people or everybody got a little of knowledge from the show tonight. Veckrell says, I sometimes bore my animal guides, sometimes send them, sometimes become them. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Vet. I appreciate that. And everybody else listening, and then people in the chat room, thank you too. Don't forget the show and all the other shows on UPRN. They are all over. We are broadcasting in 160 different countries. It was very nice to meet you too, Chris. Stop by on Tuesday night because I have a show on Tuesday night too. But it's that time. Hold on, Mark. All right, I'll talk to you later. So, Mark, I just got your message. If you could find me an author that deals with the wolf walkers, I would truly appreciate it, brother. I would appreciate it. But now it comes that time, everybody. Here comes the time where we pull the cards. You ready, Joe Fox? Thank you, Chris, for being here. Thank you. You ready, Joe Fox? Michelle, thank you, Michelle. I'm glad you did. So I'm going to pull the card, and everybody knows I pull one card, one animal card. And then with the animal card that I do pull, my buddy, thank you, Mish, my buddy Joe Fox, he looks it up. Hopefully he's still in the chat room. All right, he's good. You ready, Joe? So I shuffled the cards. So the card I'm going to pull is an animal card. I'm going to pull one. And Joe is going to look up, the meaning behind the card that I pull. Okay. And hopefully, maybe, or more than likely, the animal I pull will help you guide along through your week coming up. So are we ready? You ready, Joe? Joe's ready. So I shuffled them and I cut them. And I cut them again. Here we go, everybody. Drum roll. We have the frog again. The frog. We already had the frog. Yeah, we had it at that long reading we had. We had the frog. To me, the frog, just sits around by the lake and, and all those insects that he eats are like bad mojo. Bad mojo. And so what the frog does is that he'll eat these insects. Rivet. Yeah. So the frog will sit there and eat these little insects who are bad insects, that negativity. So that's what I think about the frog. A long tongue. Oh gosh, Mish. So as we're waiting for Joe, I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Okay, here it is. Joe Fox says the frog as a spirit animal symbolizes transformation, healing, and emotional growth. It encourages you to embrace change, and I'm going through a lot. Trust your intuition and release negativity for personal renewal. Thank you, Joe. That's why we picked it, because the frog is a spirit animal symbolizing transformation, healing, and emotional growth. It encourages you to embrace change, trust your intuition, and release negativity for personal renewal. That is so me. I hope that helped everybody out for this week. And we'll see what happens on Tuesday when we pull another one. Maybe are we frogs in water slowly boiling? That's bad, Mish. That's really bad, Mish. Here. Be aware of our surroundings, yes. And also, frogs like female piggies. Just says, frogs like female piggies. Miss Piggy. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Thank you, Kevin. So, children, if you can, please go to your parents. Give them a hug. Tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents and you have no children, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a very long way. And please remember, protect the children and save the children. Because children are precious. And I will see everybody Tuesday night. Good night.